Our planet faces a profound challenge. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. Its impacts are felt across the globe. From rising sea levels to extreme weather events, the consequences are increasingly evident. We stand at a crossroads facing a stark choice: continue on our current path of unsustainable consumption or forge a new path towards a sustainable future. The urgency to act is paramount. The scientific consensus is clear. Human activity is the primary driver of climate change. Our reliance on fossil fuels, deforestation, and unsustainable agricultural practices have released unprecedented amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat, causing the planet to warm at an alarming rate. The consequences are already being felt around the world. Rising sea levels threaten coastal communities, displacing millions of people. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts and wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense. These events cause widespread destruction, disrupt economies, and lead to loss of life. The impacts of climate change are not evenly distributed. Developing countries, often least responsible for historical emissions, are disproportionately affected. The time for complacency is over. We must act decisively and collectively to mitigate climate change and transition to a sustainable future. This transition will require a fundamental shift in our values, priorities, and behaviors. We must embrace a new paradigm that prioritizes environmental sustainability alongside economic prosperity. The concept of a green transition offers a glimmer of hope. It envisions a future where we shift away from fossil fuels and embrace renewable energy sources, sustainable practices, and circular economies. This transition holds immense promise, with the potential to create new jobs, foster innovation, and improve public health. Renewable energy technologies such as solar and wind power have advanced significantly in recent years. Costs have plummeted, making them increasingly competitive with fossil fuels. The transition to a clean energy economy could create millions of new jobs in manufacturing, installation, and maintenance. Moreover, renewable energy sources are inherently cleaner, reducing air pollution and improving public health. However, the green transition also presents significant challenges. The shift away from fossil fuels will require massive investments in new infrastructure such as renewable energy plants, transmission lines, and energy storage systems. This transition will require careful planning and coordination to ensure a smooth and equitable transition for all. Moreover, the extraction and processing of raw materials for renewable energy technologies such as lithium for batteries can have environmental impacts of their own. We must ensure that these materials are sourced responsibly and that end-of-life products are properly recycled. The green transition is not a silver bullet, but it is a necessary step towards a sustainable future. By embracing innovation, investing in new technologies, and addressing the social and environmental challenges, we can harness the promise of a green transition while mitigating its risks. The relationship between economic growth and environmental sustainability lies at the heart of the paradox of progress. Our current economic model is predicated on perpetual growth, often at the expense of the environment. We extract resources, produce goods, consume them, and discard waste in a linear fashion. This model is unsustainable in the long run. Economic growth, as measured by GDP, often comes at the expense of natural resources. We clear forests for agriculture, extract minerals for manufacturing, and burn fossil fuels for energy, all of which contribute to deforestation, habitat loss, and climate change. This pursuit of endless growth creates a vicious cycle where environmental degradation undermines the very foundations of economic prosperity. The pursuit of endless economic growth has led to a disconnect between our material possessions and our well-being. We live in a consumerist society that encourages us to constantly acquire more goods and services, often beyond our needs. This cycle of consumption generates vast amounts of waste and pollution, further straining the planet's resources. Breaking this vicious cycle requires a fundamental rethinking of our economic model. We must move away from a sole focus on GDP growth and embrace a more holistic approach that values environmental sustainability, social equity, and human well-being. This will require challenging conventional economic thinking and embracing new indicators of progress that go beyond material wealth. Consuming less, a bridge too far. A central tenet of addressing the paradox of progress involves confronting our consumption patterns. The global north, in particular, has grown accustomed to a lifestyle of abundance, often at the expense of the planet and its resources. Reducing our consumption is essential for achieving environmental sustainability, but it is a message that is often met with resistance. The idea of consuming less challenges deeply ingrained social norms and aspirations. Our identities are often intertwined with our possessions, and the pursuit of material goods is seen as a marker of success. Asking people to consume less can be perceived as a threat to their way of life, leading to pushback and skepticism. However, consuming less does not necessarily equate to a decrease in well-being. In fact, research suggests that beyond a certain threshold, increased material consumption does not lead to greater happiness. Focusing on experiences, relationships, and personal growth can provide more lasting fulfillment than material possessions. Shifting towards a less consumption-centric lifestyle requires a collective effort. Governments can implement policies that promote sustainable consumption, such as carbon pricing and extended producer responsibility schemes. Businesses can adopt circular economy models that prioritize reuse, repair, and recycling. Individuals can make conscious choices to reduce their environmental footprint. Redefining prosperity beyond GDP. The limitations of GDP as a sole measure of progress are becoming increasingly apparent. GDP measures the total value of goods and services produced in an economy, but fails to account for the negative externalities such as pollution and resource depletion. It also overlooks essential aspects of human well-being, such as health, education, and social connections. Redefining prosperity requires looking beyond material wealth and considering a broader set of indicators that capture the multidimensional nature of human well-being. These indicators could include measures of environmental quality, social equity, health outcomes, education levels, and civic engagement. Several alternative indicators have been proposed, such as the Genuine Progress Indicator and the Happy Planet Index. These indicators attempt to account for factors that GDP ignores, such as environmental degradation, income inequality, and life expectancy. While no single indicator is perfect, these alternatives provide a more comprehensive picture of societal progress. Moving beyond GDP as the primary measure of success requires a shift in mindset. Governments, businesses, and individuals need to prioritize well-being over material wealth. This shift will require embracing new economic models that prioritize sustainability, equity, and human flourishing.